Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, introducing to you now the prince of all things sports and entertainment, your action-packed wrestling heavyweight champion, your viral pro wrestling outbreak champion, and your pro wrestling union united heavyweight champion. So, DH&HD, Drew Hood and High Demand, bend the knee, peasants and plebeians, one and all, to the prince himself, man, myth, and legend in the making. Yours truly, the conductor of the Hood High Train, Choo Choo. Be everything you always wanted. Wait. B! Yeah? DH&HD?
Man, that is a great intro. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking time to be with us, man. Very much appreciate that as well. And let's just jump right into this and hit us with your worst road story.
Ooh, okay. So, there's unfortunately nothing super specific that I can recall as far as like getting pulled over. Like once happened because my lights were off and the cop was like, turn your lights on. I said, my fault. There was another time where I was driving home and my tire blew out and I fell asleep on the side of the road while a friend of mine came to, drive an hour and a half out of his way to blow it back up for me so I could drive to the QT with my spare tire to fill that back up with air and then drive home and get home at 7 a.m. Those are pretty bad. Shout out to James Johnson, by the way, came in super clutch. He is a massively good human being. He does not get enough love and recognition, I swear to God. No, unbiased comment. The bad road stories, right? I would say for me, it's anytime, and I know what people are going to say, it's anytime I'm in the back seat behind Selina Rose, who is notoriously so super not good behind the wheel. And she's the one that drives us everywhere. I have never seen more gray hairs pop up on my face. I have never felt such a fast heartbeat. And I have never backseat driven as much as I've have whenever we're in the back of that Kia Soul. So Selina Rose, I love you. You're my little sister. But oh my God, she got her license from a cereal box. It is the scariest, most life-threatening, adrenaline-inducing time. So my worst and bad road stories, most weekends.
Oh man, that's wild, dude. I'm so hoping Selena sees this.
And for those of you that are gonna be like, oh, would you say that to her face, dude? I say it to her while it's happening. Like, we're driving up, the interstate, and there's a brand new 2023 model red Mustang, and she's not gonna hit the brakes for it until I say, oh, I don't know, hey, car, and then she's like, oh, okay, brakes. Just
I gotcha. Nah, man, that's awesome. That's actually one of the quickest bad road stories, but also definitely one of the funniest. Like you top the charts there, man.
I'm really glad I was muted. Like it's really good that I was muted.
Yeah, we were laughing the whole time. I mean, that was great. All right, good deal. So with that, let's head to your good road story.
A good one for me would be, so on the same token, I ride in the same car with Selina Rose, James Johnson, and then we'll have maybe somebody else interchangeably in there every now and again. A good one in recent memory that I have very fondly was the three of us and another performer by the name of Movie Mike, who is a phenomenal talent, absolutely A1, like steak sauce. You know what I mean? We were all in the car driving to a show. And then after that show, we went to Applebee's and we were just I have not laughed that hard at 1 a.m. in a very, very long time. But it was such a phenomenal evening, and then dropping them off and just good vibes all the way back to Winston-Salem. And then after I hopped out of the car there, I hopped back in my car. And usually, as most wrestlers and as most people know, most normal functioning humans know, if you're getting in the car at 2:30 in the morning, you're usually wiped, and you're usually thinking to yourself, that nearest gas station parking lot's looking real good for a nap right about now. I was so energized after such a wonderful night. I made it home, and I was like, you know what? I have enough time to eat, take a shower, I'm going to go sleep. Super, super easy. So that is one of my very fond memories. another quick one, if I've got a second, another quick one that I've got. So this one's a catch 22 because it was both the best, but also kind of semi maybe a little bit of the worst in some scenarios. Was when James, Selena, and the Infinite Man Tim and myself, we all were in a car. Actually, around this time last year, we drove up to Ohio. That road trip, that road trip started here in Raleigh around 2 a.m. And then I picked up Tim, and then we went to Winston-Salem and hopped in with them at what, like 4 a.m. or 4:30, and then we drove the 8 hours up to Ohio. There's such a state of delirium that you get in that everything's funny, everything's amazing, and you're just having the greatest time of your life. And then you get to Ohio and realize that it's January and you haven't packed winter clothes and you step out in a sleeveless t-shirt and you regret everything. And it's the greatest moment of your entire life. That is just A1, the best.
Dude, that's great. Yeah, Ohio can get pretty cold, man. I'm originally from Jersey, so like, yeah, that cold weather, dude. I'm about that.
I've learned my lesson. I'm going up to Jersey later this year, and I've learned my lesson. I've got my hoodie, sweats, and whatever else I need.
Good deal. Yeah, you might want to pack a winter jacket, man. It gets pretty wild up there.
A lot of change too.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna tag out. I'm gonna let Angel take over, and she's gonna get you some questions.
Let's go.
First question is, what is your go-to place to eat when you're traveling?
Well, when I'm traveling, as much of a cop-out answer as this sounds, I'm one of those freak geeks automobiles that packs his own food. So all my meal prep that I do on Sundays, if I'm hitting the road that following weekend, I've got my seasoned beef or chicken or turkey or whatever it may be. Usually it's carrots for the veggies and a crap ton of rice, and I will eat that as much as humanly possible. If it's a Sunday and I've eaten through everything, I have to say that my gas station of choice would be a Sheetz because they got a lot of options. But if we're allowed to sit down and eat, it's gonna have to be the wrestling's favorite Waffle House every single time. Cheap prices and like 6 plates of food. I'm in heaven. That's it.
Yeah, Waffle House is amazing. Do you have a standard Waffle House order?
It really honestly depends on the mood. A lot of the times, the consistent purchases will be lots of scrambled eggs, double the hash browns, throw some cheese and some jalapenos on those hash browns, give me all the toast, and then if I'm really, really hungry, then I'll order myself one of them waffles, probably with the peanut butter chocolate chips. That's some good stuff right there, all day.
They have peanut butter chocolate chips?
To my knowledge, unless this is a Mandela effect and I've been ordering like stupid delirious, but I swear to God, there's peanut butter chocolate chips at the ones I've eaten at, and it was just so good.
I'm gonna have to look the next time I go to one. I'm also a Waffle House girly. I love Waffle House, but I've never heard of that, and now I need to find it. Okay, cool. I also will say you are not the first one on the show that packs their own food. So yeah, we also had Sean Legacy also takes all
of course.
Food.
Is that guy? Oh
Yeah.
my God, of course. No shot he doesn't like he's like, oh, I'm Sean Legacy. Like, hey,
yeah. And I believe it was Psycho Boy Fodder. Danny, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
So, so funny thing about that too, I know he does because him and I were at a show together, and I saw him bring out what might have been like this big of a Tupperware container of just rice and chicken. It was like this tall and like this wide, and I just kind of looked at him and went, "You gonna finish all that?" And he was just like eating it throughout the entire show, and I was like, "Oh my God, you psychopath!" But it looked real good though. To be fair, it looked really good.
Oh yeah, man. He eats. If I want to say it's roughly every 2 hours. He eats something. So yep.
Every 2 to 3 for me as well. So yeah, it's taxing. It gets annoying, but it's there.
I understand. It's definitely a discipline, that's for sure.
Our next question is a 2-part question. We would like to know who was your first favorite wrestler and who's your favorite wrestler now?
First favorite wrestler, because I saw him essentially first, and it's just all the matches and everything that my friends were showing me afterwards when they introduced me to wrestling. It's pretty much, it's going to be Dwayne. It's going to be The Rock. He was electrifying. It was mostly the funny moments that they were showing me first, and I was like, oh my god, this is wrestling. That's hilarious. And then it was just like from there, it just continued to build. Ironically enough, another guy that I saw also kind of around first was, if you can believe it, The Miz. Oh, wow. Mind blown. Everyone's probably like, oh, I see the comparisons. Yeah, of course, obviously, because he was one of the first ones I saw. And I thought he was phenomenal. I still think he's phenomenal. Super underappreciated. I think The Miz is fantastic. So it was pretty much those two were the first ones that I was watching. And then, of course, everybody else followed suit. But they were the first two that I was like, that would be really cool if I could do that with my life. And oh boy, howdy, did I choose. You know what I mean? Current favorite wrestler? Hey, if everybody is going to judge me severely for this answer, that's okay. Just understand that I don't care because it's me. I am my own favorite wrestler. I think that it is super important that you are your own biggest critic, but you're also your own biggest fan. I think it is very important, especially for your branding and business. So Lays and Germs, Dirt Sheets, and everybody else that's going to be listening, Drew Hood and High Demand, his favorite wrestler is DH and HD. Mind blown, I'm sure.
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That was fantastic. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. And you're right. The Miz is underrated. Like, I feel like he gets a lot of crap, but I think he's great. Like
any role they put him in, he excels. Like he could be just talking on the show. He could be wrestling on the show. I watched some of Raw this past week, and I saw him like busting out springboards and Raw. So I was like, brother, you've been in this like 20 years. What are you doing? You don't need to be doing this, but he's still performing at a high rate. He rarely gets injured. He cuts some of the best promos in the business as a whole. Yeah, absolutely. Like the hate that he gets, man, I just don't get it. I really don't.
I don't either. I'm glad to talk to somebody else who likes Miz.
That's my guy. If I had an adoptive wrestling dad, he would probably be my adoptive wrestling dad.
That's cool, man. I've been watching The Miz when he was on like the Real World. Like I've been watching The Miz like his whole time on TV, and like
he got it. He got it from the get-go.
Oh yeah, and the character that he plays on WWE is the character he's been portraying like the entire time. Like when he was not a wrestler yet, but wanting to be a wrestler, he was The Miz, and that was his alter ego. And to see him take it to there, and then WWE letting him be like, "Yeah, just do what you've been doing."
Just do that.
Like, that's awesome, right? Yeah.
Our best selves on TV or in the ring is going to be you turned up to 11 or 12 or 13, and that's just The Miz. That's just as they say on all the backstage and everything else. That's just Mike. That's just The Miz.
Next question is, who is your favorite person to wrestle?
Ooh, oh boy. Okay, you caught me off guard because like that list for me, just the archive of all the matches I've had, it's hard to narrow it down just to one person.
You're totally fine, man. Chance Riser gave us like 15.
Because I'm thinking of 15 to 30 to 50. Like there's just so many people that I've been in the ring with, and everybody's so different. Like for example, like most recent match I had was with Chip Day last Friday, and that was a phenomenal match, and that's one of my favorite matches I've had. And then I think about it, back, and I've wrestled guys like Billy Brash, I've wrestled Ethan Case, I've wrestled Tim, I've wrestled so many guys in the Carolinas specifically that it's just so I can't pick just one. I'll say from a sentimental standpoint and from a standpoint of we can go out there and we can just create magic every single time. My trainer and mentor, James Johnson, and I, we've had several singles matches. We've had it in front of like a studio crowd when it was just like a TV taping. We've had a singles match in front of 12 people. We've had a singles match in front of 300 people. In every single time, it was just so good. And it was just so much fun. And it was just so easy. I think one of my favorite moments from, it wasn't last year, it wasn't 2023, it was 2022, was in November. of 2022, we did a show in a fairgrounds in a section of the building that didn't have heat. So this batch was cold. It was like 30 degrees. I could see my breath when I was yelling and talking crap to people. And I was like, this is horrible, terrible. And we hadn't been to this promotion of this show in like months, if not years. And we were still getting the loudest amount of boos because, of course, you just look at me and you're like, God, I hate you. And then you look at James Johnson, and you're like, that looks like the nicest dude. I just want to go give him a hug. You know what I mean? So like they were cheering him loudly and they just could not stand the sight of me, which, to be fair, I don't blame them. And it was just the easiest 10 to 15 minutes of my life. And it was one of the most fond memories I have, minus the fact that in 30-degree weather where we could see each other's breath, he decided to just put his big concrete heavy hands on my chest. But we're just, it's a bygones will be bygones. I don't hold that against him whatsoever. It's okay. So James for sentimental reasons.
I cannot even imagine a cold chop like that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not it. That's not it.
Our next question is, do you have a Ricky Morton story?
Ricky Morton. Oh, man. I haven't shared as many locker rooms with Ricky Morton as I would like to, because, it's not even my own stories. It's just stories that I've heard. Like, I'm sure everyone's got something different, but every time I shared a locker room with him, which has been only maybe like a handful of times, might have been less than 5, to be honest. He's just been so kind, not to put a damper on any, shenanigans that I'm sure other people have brought up before and, all the funny moments, but just from a genuine perspective, he's just such a kind dude and he's so nice and he just talks to everybody. He treats everybody equally. And he's just, a sweetheart. He's just a heavenly guy. He's my Ricky Morton story is that he respectfully knows your name, especially after you meet him a couple times. He'll always thank you for being there, and he'll just be joshing around with everybody in the locker room the entire time. It's cool to see, especially in a business where veterans get a bad rep for being, bitter or hateful or just spiteful. For him to be there and just to be one of the guys, one of the boys, and Ricky Morton, we love that for you.
Yeah, Ricky's such a treasure.
Protect him.
Yeah, and it's like, while some people do have like funny stories, even the folks who told, funny stories of shenanigans and what have you, like they still wrapped it up by saying like a version of what you just said. It's just like he is just universally loved.
It's just a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't find flaws with him, which, we're just going to go ahead and count our blessings in today's society that, he's just a genuinely good human.
Yeah, definitely. I totally understand what you're saying there, man. I'm excited because he's going to be in the double steel cage match in Axe of War 3 for AML at the end of this month, at the end of January. I was like, dude, I was so excited because I got George and Ricky. Like, this is going to be so dope. Yeah, I'm looking
forward. War Games is going to be nuts. It's going to be insane.
Well, that is a good segue into our next question, which is, do you have a George South story?
There's a lot. There's a lot of George South stories, which is to say, they're all entertaining and he's a great guy and he's hilarious and also one of those other let's treasure them kind of vets. So it wasn't me, but it was somebody that is my best friend and I've started in the business with. His name's Cam Jackson. And if you don't know who that is, you are missing out. Cam Jackson is one of the most entertaining son of a guns on this scene today. So look up number one, Cam Jackson, NUMBAH, number one, Cam Jackson. Does XWW and some other places. Him and George had a singles match, and this was in 2019. And I remember the match was slated for 10 to 12 minutes on the sheet. And then about 30 to 35 minutes later, after they were done, the crowd, from the paying fans in attendance to everybody that was at the merch tables to everybody that was just coming out from back to watch what this masterpiece was, it it was just like a WrestleMania inside a little itty bitty like hall. That was pretty much what the best way I can describe it. It was just like such a mania moment to watch George give Cam this big boost of like, this is what it means to, you know, elevate yourself to this point. And to, you know, watch them afterwards and, you know, in the locker room and just like him talking to Cam and just saying like, you know, this, you did great with this and all this other stuff. And just like, it was just another day in the office for him, just to put on such a masterful performance and then just be like, you know what, that was great. Good job. Handshakes all around. Good job, everybody. And then just go out to his merch table, just like it was nothing. That to me was, I think that might have been one of my first George South interactions. And from there, I was just thinking to myself, man, I don't know anything about this business because he just schooled everybody on this show. Insane. Absolutely insane.
Final question.
Here we go.
Is, if you could only watch one wrestling match for the rest of your life, what match would that be?
So I was thinking about this for a minute. And the easiest answer for me is it's a WrestleMania 18. It is Icon versus Icon. It is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Now, unfortunately, over time, there's been some issues that have popped up for people's decisions and their actions and the words that they've spoken. So it's kind of marred it a little bit for me. But if I can at least put like that, just be a fan and watch the match, it's still a masterclass on how to build and execute a blockbuster attraction match. And the money that they made alone from that one match was astronomical. So a lot of what I do personally is modeled after that, to where my larger than life persona, my ideals with professional wrestling and sports entertainment is centered around the idea of moments, creating moments and magic. So watching that match over and over again, trying my best to try and put to the side what may have been said and what was said by certain people and individuals as their own, you know, being. Watching that as a piece of business, I'm thinking to myself, that is what I want to create for myself. From a wrestling perspective, obviously not the greatest match of all time. Nobody's going to be writing home. There was no stars given, probably. I don't know. I don't really check those things. I'm sure if it was in the Tokyo Dome, maybe it would have been 6. But, you know, it was up in Canada. It was, you know, to me, though, that was 5 stars. I will say, though, that one that I do watch frequently, another one, is Roddy Piper and Bret Hart from WrestleMania. That match, I feel, goes under the radar. People should watch it. It is also a masterclass in wrestling, storytelling, and it is just a great passing of the torch match. So those two are ones that I watch very frequently, and if I only could watch one of those for the rest of my life, I'd be perfectly satisfied.
Yeah, dude, Roddy Piper, that's one of my guys, man. I liked him a lot when I was a kid. He was such a good heel.
Yeah.
Like, I loved his heel work. Yeah.
I sometimes, you know, I'm glad to have grown up in the age that I have, but watching tapes and then watching documentaries on like Roddy Piper's and, you know, the Bret Harts and like how they all came up, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, man, what I wouldn't give to have like lived through that, to just experience what that was like. Cause the genuine emotion that Roddy Piper was able to pull out of people is insane. It's fair to say that if there were top 5 wrestlers of all time that I would talk about, would be Roddy Piper's up there. Roddy Piper is definitely up there.
On our episode of Caleb Conley, his one of his great moments was being able to do a segment with Roddy Piper, and I'm like, a Piper's Pit, actually. And I was like, dude, that's like a dream. Yeah.
I was already jealous of Caleb and all his freaking muscles and all his freaking acumen and his freaking career, and now he just adds that to the mix. That's great. Caleb, I love you, but man.
Yeah, you'll have to ask him about it, man. It's awesome.
I'm going to have to.
I'm going to have to reacquaint myself with the Roddy Piper Bret Hart match. I think I've seen it, but it's been a while. So I'll definitely have to watch that again. I was excited when you mentioned WrestleMania 18 because
Mm,
I have a separate channel where I watch wrestling matches for the first time and like react to it.
yeah.
And I think it was someone else we interviewed on the show recommended this match. It was like the match they chose. And I think it was Marcus Cross, who said he also chose that WrestleMania 18 match as his one match to watch forever because, like you said, of like the moments
Oh my
it created. And like you said, like, is it technically the best match? No, but oh my gosh, it's so good.
yeah.
And like, if I'm not mistaken, like technically The Rock is the face, but he gets booed, and then
Mm,
Hulk is the heel and he's doing heel shit, but he's getting cheered. And I remember being really confused
yeah.
by that.
Yeah, no, it and like for background too, because of course, obviously, I would have studied this match up and down. And as soon as Rock and Hogan are talking about the behind, how it got built up and like some of the stuff of that day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just listen to this real quick. They had to switch it because they were booing Rock so heavy and they were cheering Hogan so much. They were like, well, I guess the dynamic of the match is now switched. So like they just did that as the match progressed and just watching the little things and this is where for me as a performer, this is where when I'm training twice a week, I am going to training to work on the littlest minute details that maybe nobody's going to notice, but it is going to define how the match looks and how it makes people feel. And there was just such small details that The Rock and Hogan were talking about for this match that, put Hogan in even though he was still eye poking and back raking, it put him in the good guy position. And then Rock, the way he said that he detailed it to make himself the bad guy of the match, it was just masterclass and how to really listen to the crowd. Something that I feel like is the most foreign statement in today's society, but they had the crowd right there. And that is that sweet spot. They are right there. And that's what I love. I love that.
Yeah, that was such a great match. I really, really
Mm,
enjoyed it. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Like normally, like because I haven't been watching wrestling that long, like most of the time
mhm.
I don't recognize the match that people that wrestlers mention because like y'all have watched way more than I have. So that was really exciting. Like, oh, I know that one.
Oh my God. Yeah. That is yes.
So
10 stars.
I mean, that is one of the bonuses of like hosting the show and getting to talk with all of you is just
Mm,
like there's so much wrestling that happened before I discovered and fell in love with wrestling. Like
mm,
I don't have enough time in the day to go watch it all. So like tell me what to watch, you
yeah,
know? Like and
mhm,
we've gotten so many good recommendations. And it's really been it's my favorite question out of
Yeah.
all of ours.
You're gonna have to
So
add that Bret Hart Roddy Piper, man.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to say Roddy Piper WrestleMania 1. He was a face actually in that scenario, but
Oh,
his Piper's Pit that he did there is great. Like he didn't even fight. It's just an interview.
And then Piper doing business with Mr. Wonderful, Hulk Hogan, and Mr. T in that tag match.
Yes.
There's just I could go on about Piper. Like that is one of my guys. He is the epitome of what it means to not give a sugar honey iced tea about other people's opinions and just hearing things like, oh yeah, Roddy almost got stabbed that one time, or yeah, someone pulled a gun on him in a diner. I'm just like, teach
Whoa.
me, teach me this.
that is all the questions that we have.
Yeah.
What we like to do now is we like to give you an opportunity to promote anything you have upcoming and let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
Luckily for me, as far as social media goes and the internet, if you look up Drew Hood, there's really realistically only me that pops up. There's a couple of like dentists or doctors, but who wants to make obscene amounts of money? No. You wanna follow DH and HD, Drew Hood, and High Demand. You want to look for the sports entertainer and the professional wrestler. That's who you want to look for. I'm the big blonde, beautiful one. For those of you who didn't know. If you look up Drew Hood on Facebook, you'll see my smug, beautiful but smug face. You'll see me on Instagram, which is, I think, DH_in_HD, Drew Hood in there as well. On Twitter, X, or whatever the hell you're going to call it, it is going to be also Drew Hood, DH_in_HD_. TikTok, I don't really have it, but man, I don't get it. So, don't even bother. Just do the other ones. Do the other ones. On YouTube, if you look up Drew Hood, you'll see Drew Hood Wrestling. Just click on that. Click on it, and then I'm right there. Right there, I promise. You'll also see Drew Hood versus Brittany Jade. I hate Brittany Jade. But you'll also see Drew Hood versus or something like that. Just kidding, Brittany. Haha, hi, bestie. Hi, how you doing? Upcoming for 2024, I'm sure everybody says this. And you know what? Not even I'm sure. I know everybody says this. But this year is lining up to be the greatest experience for my career ever. It will be my biggest year. I will be winning more championships, guaranteed. I will be showing up in more states, guaranteed. And hopefully, maybe sometime soon, you might even see me on bigger, brighter lights. Who's to say, though? Who's to say? Who's to say? I'm just a great talent. But in all seriousness, 2024, I'll be all over the Southeast. I'll be traveling to the North, hopefully the Midwest. It'll be a great year. I'm excited.
Excellent.
Dude, that's great, man.
Excellent.
I love it.
And you are a great talent. Like, really.
Yeah. I'm great talent. I appreciate it.
The first time I saw you was at Title Belt Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then like seen you ever since, man. Of course, PCW shows and everywhere else. So
I'm just the most beloved superstar everywhere I go. Nobody boos me. Everybody is so happy to see me. They don't, scour me. They don't villainize me. No, I'm just everybody's favorite. Yeah, you guys know. You guys have seen it. They can vouch for me.
I hear you. Yeah. Dude, like you versus Sean at the PCW show, that was sick.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Well, man, I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time, and thank you for being with us. And we'll be in touch. We'll let you know when the episode is going to drop.
Beautiful.
Like we're looking forward to getting the rest of the C on here and getting stuff going for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, I'm supporting you guys right now. So
see, that is my favorite shirt. That is my favorite shirt. I wore this one just because I wanted to show off a little bit, but like that's my favorite shirt. I love the sports entertainment.
Yeah, at the last show, Selina was wearing one, and at the December show, and I was like, I need one of those, and she was like, I got them, and I was like, let's do this. Yeah, sure.
Are you not sports entertained?
Exactly.
You're not sports entertained. It's my favorite.
Yep. Beautiful.
It's so good. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And my Venmo and Cash App are in your inboxes, so you can just send all the the $100 there, and then we'll settle.
Well, dude, bud, I appreciate you, man.
Of course, appreciate you.
Good night. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.